percentages, fractions, and decimals are comparative numbers that you may use to estimate size and number of things. Now observe the cycle, the 100 grid square, and the number line, and then observe how size together with number of things determine percentages, fractions, and decimals. In this case, what you can see here is three quarters of this cycle. The portions with heavy color describes 3/4 of that cycle. Now observe in the 100 grid squares. What is that 3/4? The yellowish part describes 3/4, and that means 3/4 is 75%. Now 75% is now 75 cells out of 100, and 75 cells out of 100 is equivalent to 3/4. In the number line, you can see you have 0 up to 1. Now observe the position of 0.75 on the number line. The number line begins with 0, goes with 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 up to 0.9 and 1. Now 0.75 is in between 0.8 and 0.7. Now let us change this to a half and see. So observe size together with number of things in the cycle. What you can see is 2 halves of that cycle, and in the grid square those are 2 halves, and you can see there is 50 cells shaded and 50 cells unshaded. That makes 50%, and 50% is 1/2, is actually 50 over 100, equivalent to 1/2, and in the number line that is 0.5. Now the key issue here is to discuss how to convert between fractions, the percentages, and the decimals. However, you should also observe how size and number of things determine fractions, percentages, and decimals. Now let us change this to another size. Now suppose this is now a 9 out of 10. There is 9 portions in the unit cycle, and that makes 9 over 10, equivalent to 90% when you look to the grid, and that is equivalent to 0.9. and when I change this to 1 out of 20, you can see that is actually in the cycle we have 1 over 20, the portion with heavy color, and then in the grid you can see there is only 5 cells which are shaded. That is equivalent to 5 out of 100 cells, and in the decimal portion in the number line you can see 5% is equivalent to 0.05. Now again observe how size can be determined by decimals, percentages, and decimals, and also how number of things determines decimals, percentages, and decimals. I mean fractions, decimals, and percentages. But also think about how you can convert between fractions, decimals, and percentages.